It is official. Joel Embiid is out for the season. Joel Embiid only played 19 games this year, and he was averaging just under 24 points a game, 8 rebounds, 4.5 assists in only 30 minutes. And again, only 19 games played. And Joel Embiid, he's done. He confirmed that he is going to do that surgery. Where he had a choice of where he could choose if he was going to pick it to do it or not, or to just kind of deal with it and heal it naturally. But I think that they made the best decision on just doing the surgery. The Sixers are awful. They are 20 and 38. They are the 12th seed. They are on a 9-game losing streak currently, and it's just been awful for Philly this year. And least this is the least amount of games that Embiid has played in a season since he missed his first 2 years due to injury. And it sucks. Joel Embiid gets a bad rap because of injuries and how he plays and everything, but you don't want to see players just never have a chance and be going out for the year, whether your team is the 1 seed or the 15th seed. But this just solidifies it for the 76ers. I mean, they lost Jared McCain for the year after his hot start. Paul George has not been the same player. Tyrese Maxey's been good for them, but Tyrese Maxey can't do everything for himself. So it's just another big blow for Philly fans this year. And while we're on the topic, it came out a few hours ago that if Joel Embiid is not healthy in a year from now and can't play, then the 76ers organization is going to petition for a medical retirement for Joel Embiid. And that would happen by the NBA, and the NBA's player association would have to select a doctor, and they would examine Embiid, and if they come to a conclusion that his body just won't let him play anymore, or maybe these instances are going to keep happening, then Joel Embiid could be retiring, and this time next year, or the off season after this coming season, which is, a lot of people make jokes with how he has been recently, and not even recently, over his whole career. I mean, he's only played 452 games, and he was drafted in 2014. He missed his first 2 years. His third year, he only played 31 games. And then pretty much from his sophomore season to 2022, 2023, he's played from anywhere from 50 to 68 games, which it's crazy that, you know, whatever that average is the best that you can get out of a guy like Joel Embiid. And then, I mean, last year only 39 games, and this year only 19 games. But it's crazy to actually hear out loud that a retirement, whether it is, your decision or it's a medical retirement like it is in this case, it's crazy to hear because, I mean, when Joel Embiid has played, he's led the league in scoring twice, um, really 3 times, but he was injured last year, so it doesn't count. But I mean, he was MVP in the 2022-2023 season. He was runner up to MVP the 2 years prior. He's a 7-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defensive, and, he's one of the more skilled bigs that we've seen in history just because of his ability to score at all 3 levels. But again, injuries, it's horrible. And with him, if he does retire, um, due to the NBA doctor. If that were to happen, his contract would get completely wiped off the books from the 76ers, which I guess that's a plus for Philly if it does come to that, because he is making 51 this year, 55 next year, 57, then 62, and then a player option for 67 million. And I mean, he just hasn't. Joel Embiid just hasn't had any success, right? We know he has not made it to a conference finals. I believe he's only made it to um the semifinals twice. Um, and I think he got beat by Boston both times, my mind, if I can remember properly. But I mean, you always wanted to see to if he could bring the team to the higher level. That's what this year was supposed to be for them, with Paul George coming into the team, him getting overpaid. But everyone has said that it is the Paul George contract and situation that they had this year, where they paid him hit the 200 mil that he wanted for 4 years, even though he's not worth it. He wasn't worth it at the time. He was still an all-star last year, but everyone knew that he it wasn't going to be a good contract to give him because of his age, and that there were already signs of him slowing down. And Paul George has had some injury history throughout his career as well. He's about to turn 35 in a couple months. And again, he's on contract for 4 years, making 49 this year, then 51, 54, then a player option for 56. And let's be for real, he wasn't going to turn down that 56 million in that player option year. So that's 4 guaranteed years, but you took on the price that was Joel Embiid, because if he could help you get to a finals or win a finals in the first year or two of this contract, then you would be fine with just paying him, even though he won't be worth it even at that time, because he helped you win a finals, was their hope. But I mean, two-thirds of the first season through, it already looks like one of the worst contracts in like recent history to give out, because Paul George is averaging 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He's he went from 41% three-point shooter last year to 36 now. I mean, 47% field goal to 43. He's even taking less shots, and he's taking less shots, and he's being more, like less efficient than he should be, because last year 22 points per game, all-star year, even the year before 24. And again, dropping down to 16 is just, it's not what you wanted. You wanted Paul George to come in and be this guy that could alleviate the pressure from a healthy Maxey and Embiid team. If if Maxey was cold that night, then oh hey, it's Paul George's turn to, make a difference and get them to where they want to be. But or vice versa, if it was with Embiid, or even if Embiid and Maxey were on, and you occasionally get that, oh, Paul George is on too and he's on fire, then they probably weren't going to lose a lot of those games. Or even if you had a Paul George game where he wasn't doing good, but Maxey and Embiid were on, then it probably wouldn't have hurt you too much, because you have all the options that you do. I thought that the supporting cast for the Sixers this year um, is pretty decent. I mean, Kelly Oubre, I like. Yabusele has really played up his value being signed from France this offseason. And then they've gotten, bursts of the young guys while everyone's been healthy, like Justin Edwards, Ricky Council. And then you occasionally still get a good game from like older guys like Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon. I mean, they got newly acquired Quentin Grimes. They just signed Lonnie Walker not too long ago either, but everyone had high hopes for this team. And the fact that I mean, a 12 seed, it's horrible. It's not what anybody wanted to see, and with Embiid, he's not gonna be back in time, I can't imagine, for the start of next season. They're not gonna be that great because they're only, at least as of now granted, there's a whole off season that they will probably go through. They have people that are expiring, but their only centers on the roster is an older Andre Drummond who, sure, he's a good rebounder, but that's about it. And even then, he's still not the same player. And then they have Yabusele playing small ball five for them when everyone has been injured. Now, I don't want to also make it seem like the only Paul George and Embiid have been hurt this year. Like, they've gone through a lot of injuries, like we said earlier, with Jared McCain. Eric Gordon has missed time. Andre Drummond has been, it feels like he's been out forever. Kyle Lowry is like 38 now, too. So, and he obviously isn't what he once was. But I just don't know what, I don't know what Philly can do from here because Embiid's at least going to be on the roster next season. But he's making 51 million, and that takes up a third to a quarter of your cap space. At least as of now, we know the cap space goes up every year, but I mean, Tyrese Maxey's paid, Paul George is paid, and I can't imagine if Paul George is playing like this year. It's not like he's just magically going to bounce back up to 22 points a game. He might have a little bit better of a season because this year has been really bad for him. But I mean, again, Paul George, he's not getting younger. And really, your only bright spot that you're going to have going into next year, again, unless something weird happens in the offseason, is when Jared McCain comes back, who was the like 16th overall pick, who wasn't supposed to get this amount of pressure put on him, but now with the way that Philly is going, it's looking rough. And I really, Philly is one of those teams where I don't know what they can do anymore because you don't have a lot of options anymore. You pretty much solidified your core when you did the Paul George thing because him, Maxey, and Embiid are all getting paid like all-stars like they are or have been before. And there's not much other than that with cap flexibility. Again, they have found good pieces for, like minimums, like again, Yabusele, who is probably going to get paid this offseason by somebody, more than a minimum, but nothing crazy. I mean, Quentin Grimes, I don't know what his contract situation is. Um, and then you have the young guys like that have been playing good, like Ricky Council or Justin Edwards, and are you just gonna forget about them? Or if they do play, you know, if they do need to be re-signed, you're just gonna let them go for nothing too because you don't have the money. So I don't know. The Sixers are in a rough spot. There is I don't know what to do this year. They just need to keep losing, I would say, because I don't believe that they have their pick is not completely unprotected. I believe that if it falls within something, um OKC might be able to get it. Um let's see, I can check to see what their pick situation is, but it's not good. They this isn't a year that you don't wanted to lose and be in the lottery. You wanted to be a contender out east with Boston, with New York, with Milwaukee, with now Cleveland. Yeah, they don't even have they don't even have their pick completely unprotected. It's Philly's pick is only protected 1 through 6. So you're telling me you have to get the first through sixth pick, and like, they were, like, the 15th seed for a long time, but now they've jumped up to 12th to where the Raptors, the Hornets, and the Wizards are worse than them. The Nets are only 1 game better than them, and that's just out east. We're not even talking about out west. The Jazz is worse. The Jazz are worse. The Pelicans are worse. That's about it. So right there, that's immediately 5 teams that are worse than you, and we all know that the lottery odds, like, it shifts. Some people drop, some people rise into the top whatever picks, but it's gonna be a scary time for Philly fans when they thought that getting a guy like Paul George, they were gonna be in a have a good season. It was gonna be a bright spot. They were gonna hope Embiid could play, get back into MVP conversations after he was maybe gonna win it last year with the way he was playing, but it's just a rough time for Philly fans.